Namaskar, good morning all of you. So welcome you all in this StudyIQ PCS platform. Today onwards हम लोग आज से एक नया सीरीज शुरू कर रहे हैं जो आप लोगों की प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर है, खास करके जो अभी तक की एग्ज़ाम हो चुके हैं. जैसे आपको पता होगा 2011 ऑनवर्ड्स क्वेश्चंस पेपर्स अवेलेबल हैं और 2016 पर आम जाचु जे रेगुलरली द कमिशन इज कंडक्टिंग द एग्जाम and this month, I mean the last month specifically 15th of October we had this prelims and I think you all have checked your answers and आप लोगों को पता हो चुका होगा कि किसकी prelims होगी या नहीं होगी, but with the positive side I am saying still you have to like the ଆପଣ चाहूँचंती या ଆପଣ देखुचंती ଆପଣ border line रे अछंती तबे you start preparing for mains and I hope everyone might have started that. And if you feel that यदि आपण border line cross करू ना this since this border line is something very subjective, आपण जानिथिबे थर कट ऑफ देखिबे कि कहूची 60-65 भितरे कट ऑफ भी जाई परे, it could be 70-75. So we can't say what would be the cut off, but जो एग्जाम रो पैटर्न थिला, जो डिफिकल्टी लेवल थिला, and the people those have taken the exam, जति कि नंबर ऑफ एप्लीकेंट्स थिले and number of seats, we can predict or expect one thing, cut off बहुत बेसी जीवन नहीं. And we have seen the previous trend जब जतवले 450-500 is the number of seats and cut off is something around 70-80 like that. So you can expect that you are clearing, and since you have that kind of guts, so let's start preparing for the mains. But jo mane they feel that they can't clear that kind of marks or cutoff, jo manakar at least 70 tale achi or 65 tale achi, and they are expecting that ki cutoff sate jibo nahi, and they feel that next year they are going to appear it again. And jo mane first timer, those who are starting the preparation for the next year, because in the month of December apan dekhibe this notification is about to come, and then they will conduct again the exam in the next October. So for them we are starting a new kind of series, and specifically I am focusing on the Odisha Public Service Commission or OAS exam, let me tell you. And in that series, or on this 8 a.m. every day, almost 5 days in a week, I will come in front of you. And if you see the thumbnail of this video that cover topics with the previous year questions. So basically I am targeting the prelims, first thing. Second thing, let me clear that we are covering topics of every subjects, okay, and those topics which are relevant as far as prelims point of view. Aji today will start with the economy subject, and in the economy I am going to discuss with you the planning chapter. The kind of questions they have asked from the last few years, I mean kibhali bhabare question pacharichandi, and how we should go for that. I mean kemiti taku discuss kariba, kemiti bujiba kon kariba, concept kon achi ya bhitere, facts kon achi ya bhitere. So we'll see all those detailed previous year questions, and today we'll complete this planning topic. Okay, so daily basis. So once we finish the whole economy, then we'll shift to the other concepts, other subjects as well. Let's say we'll start polity, then geography, like that. So before I start discussing with you, let me tell you one thing. So we have this special Diwali offer for you. Okay, जो foundation course चली थी for this 2023 OPSC or OAS exam, you can see the kind of discount you are getting. So you can use this code Diwali to get the discount. Okay, so that you can have this kind of preparation, which is a very holistic manner and a systematic manner. Because systematic and holistic manner is very much required for this kind of civil services exam, because you can see such a vast syllabus and you have to finish it within a stipulated time. So that is the reason why we have come up with such initiative. It covers both prelims as well as mains. So this is what you have to do. You can connect with me, my Telegram channel. So I think you know this. Okay. So today's topic is the planning, and let me give a brief idea about the planning, and then I will come to the question paper. Planning is something, planning ame kahaku koitho gote simple definition jodi ame daba. Planning ro simple definition ya the meaning is what? The optimum use of the resources. For example, you have the 24 hours time and you have to finish the syllabus, let's say within 12 months for your prelims and mains. So here what you have to decide, what? You have to decide like how much time you want to devote for your optional, how much time you want to devote for your general studies, how much time you have to devote for your essay, how much time you have to divide for your English, Odia, the compulsory, and the CSAT paper, let's say, specifically for the prelims. Now here you have to be kind of a very kind of a balancing approach or a judicious approach, and you have to see which subject has the maximum weightage, and as for that weightage you have to allocate your time. This is number one. Second thing is the level of difficulty also for you, then you have to devote time. So this is what you have, the fixed amount of what? 24 hours. Jodi mu example ta ko nei ki planning re will put in that planning, you can see that planning is something you have the fixed amount of resources. Economics ra jo basic concept kona chi, human wants are unlimited in nature and the resources are fixed or limited in nature to satisfy. So this is what exactly we have the fundamental of economics. So jo existing resources achi or limited resources achi, we have to use it judiciously or optimize our what we call the requirements. Okay, that is something what we know the basic definition of planning. Now if you come to planning in India specifically, I would say that 5-year plan we have started, and 5-year plan we have started in 1951 onwards. 1951 ମସିହାରୁ ଆମେ 5-year plans ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିଥିଲେ. I think you know this. Now concept this 5-year plan ro idea ya concept kouthu asitila. If you see, the concept has been derived from the erstwhile jahako ame koitho USSR, present day Russia, पूर्वतन USSR, Union Soviet Socialist Republic. Okay. Now concept is the before independence jodi apana dekhibe, you have this planning. 1938 this planning committee was formed, and in that the Jawaharlal Nehru was the chairperson. So this Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, those young leaders of the Congress, they decided to adopt such kind of model which was based on the planning, and they inspired from the USSR, jahako ame ebe Russia boli kahithau. So from that inspiration they started this 1951 from 1951 onwards, this 5-year plan, and every 5-year plan is based on certain model. Every 5-year plan targets some kind of theme, you can say, and every 5-year plan has this target of growth rate, and they have the achieved growth rate as well. Okay, so let's start like what kind of questions OPSC have asked earlier, and on that basis we'll discuss different facets or components of planning. Ta basis ra hame different components ya facets ko discuss karibo one by one. So let's begin this. This is the first question which was asked in 2011 question paper. You might have seen that. Okay, who finally approves the draft of 5-year plans? Now this is the time of planning regime, 5-year plan regime. Now in 2015 onwards the government has decided to change this regime. That means जो 5-year plan रो जो regime थला या जो system थला, that was discontinued. We introduced what? Niti Aayog. But if you see the last 5-year plan, the last 5-year plan was 2012 to 17. That was the 12th 5-year plan, and after that we do not have any such 5-year plan. However, Niti Aayog is there to do some kind of exercises. We'll see later what are the different aspects of this Niti Aayog and all. You know, this question is all about that 5-year plan and who approves that. As you know, जेतबले planning commission thila, Planning Commission was given the responsibility to prepare the plan. Prepare the plan. Then now the next stage is to introduce before a body, and that body consists of what? Prime Minister and few cabinet ministers and the chief ministers of different states and few experts as well. Okay, and that body is known as what? Your National Development Council. So the National Development Council was the body before which Planning Commission jo thila se plan proposal to introduce karuthala. Now the final authority who decides what we call the 5-year plan, or who approves that 5-year plan, that is the National Development Council, although that system has been discontinued with the discontinuation of the Planning Commission. Okay, so this was the question which they have asked in the 2011. Now if you see the other options as well, Parliament, President, Parliament and State Legislature, no. This NDC was a special body which was constituted to give the final approval, and NDC was consisting of your Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, few cabinet ministers and the experts as well. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Now Indian planning, this Indian planning in the sense, it's talking about the 5-year plan. Now Indian planning is a totalitarian in nature, in a democratic in nature, is fully centralized and none of the above. Let me discuss with you one by one. If you see the totalitarian ra mane kono, kind of आपण ताको कहि परिबे totalitarian माने होची autocratic. Totalitarian in the sense ki autocratic माने होची कोन ना simply जहा आपनकर इच्छा ताहा आपण करि परिबे. No democracy, no freedom of speech, nothing. You have the only thing that one individual or a group of individuals, what they decide, you have to do that. You have to obey those orders. Now, in India, specifically in case of 5-year plan, totalitarian is not the case. Okay, seମିତି totalitarian kichi nathila. Democratic in nature, I would say again there is no such concept of democracy with respect to the 5-year plan. People's participation was not there in the 5-year plan. No people, I mean, आपण जानिथिबे जदी जे although 5-year plan पप्रू किछि सजेशन निया जाए, citizens हो, experts हुअन्तु, public domain रे से concept को सामना को आना जाए, जेमती एबे गोटे universal basic income आपण जानिथिबे 2015-16 समय रे introduce करा जायतिला. ताकू public discourse रे रखा गला या public domain रे रखा गला, so that people should have opinion about that. So that kind of exercises happens, but you can simply say it was not kind of a democratic in nature with respect to this India's 5-year plan. I would come to that in detail. Now, if the third statement is it is fully centralized in nature. Fully centralized in nature in the sense, now this planning commission, which was the responsible authority to implement, or you can say to propose or to suggest those 5-year plans, we have borrowed this idea, as I have already told you, we have borrowed this idea from what? USSR. So USSR ro jo model thala economy, that was this plan-based economy. Plan-based. And when we say plan-based, that means a centralized authority who decides those 5-year plans proposals, suggests those 5-year plan proposals, and is responsible with respect to the implementation as well. तो ये जो centralized planning authority या centralized authority जो थिला, अपन the India case रे से देखिबे, that was the planning commission. It was centralized. There is no such branch of any such organization with respect to state and below that. It was a simply what you call the centralized body, Central Planning Authority. Mrutyunjay, good morning. Okay, so it was a centralized authority. So you can simply say it was fully centralized because it was simply commanding those words, those proposals, you can say schemes to the states. Okay, and states were only for the ଆପଣ ଦେଖିଥିବେ ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଜାଣିଥିବେ କି it was criticized, this planning commission was criticized, they did not listen to the state's voice was just simply suppressed, or they simply do not listen that whatever they want to do they simply do it. That was one such criticism against the planning commission. Tenu, if you see the most appropriate answer in this particular option, tenu, this is what we call the fully centralized. It's fully centralized. Okay, fully centralized in the sense a central authority is with the responsibility to propose, to suggest, and prepare the framework of the plan and implement as well. And this idea we just simply borrowed from this what kouthu ame idea ta anithilu USSR ru, and a central planning authority would be responsible for that implementation and proposal and all. So apan dekhibe most appropriate answer, then it is fully centralized. There is no such branch of this planning commission as such in the state government. Okay, although every state, or you can say as per the Panchayat Raj system 73rd 74, we have this district planning committee or something, but 5-year plan ro jo planning commission ra such koi branches nahi state government re nathila. Bartman to we simply discontinued this planning commission. Okay, now moving to the next bit hazy, I hope you can see this. The central objective of the 11th 5-year plan, as I have told you, the sabu 5-year plan no gote central objective thae. Teno 11th 5-year plan ro yathare pachara jauchi kono apanku central objective. What was the central objective of this 11th 5-year plan? Growth with social justice overall 5-year plan ro objective. Apan di charta objective dekhibe 5-year plan ro, se चार्टा ऑब्जेक्टिव मध्यरु कोन गोटे होची इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, गोटे होची सोशल जस्टिस, गोटे होची दिस इक्वालिटी, ओके, आ गोटे होची सेल्फ रिलायंस. सो दीज आर व्हाट द four objectives of those 5-year plans. Are you getting my point? So growth with social justice, they are the broader objectives of the 5-year plan. Now coming to this rapid economic growth, it was not any such objective. Only economic growth was objective of 5-year plans. Then this to achieve balanced regional economic growth. Now this is, you can say, objective of every 5-year plan, because in every 5-year plan we have tried to minimize the inequality, minimize the regional disparity. These are the broader objectives. But 11th plan रे सबुठु गोटे कॉन्सेप्ट को सबुठु अधिका हाईलाइट करा जायथला. इट वाज समथिंग गिवन द मैक्सिमम इंपोर्टेंस. इट वाज द इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ. इट वाज द इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ. ना इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ गोटे टॉपिक अछि आपण मानकर मेंस सिलेबस रे. देन व्हाट एग्जैक्टली दिस इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ मीन्स? इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ मीन्स that every individual in this society should be benefited from that economic growth. Every individual in the society should be benefited from that economic growth. That is known as what we call the inclusive growth. The economic growth of a country must be inclusive. That every individual, I can quote the Gandhijiଙ୍କର जो statement आपण जानिथिबे कि the last person of the queue or the last person of the society should be benefited from the economic growth of a country. Then only your objective of inclusive growth can be achieved. And it was highlighted and it was given the maximum importance in the 11th 5-year plan, and it was the objective of the 11th 5-year plan as well. Are you getting my point? So, this is the answer. Now, government of Odisha has initiated program Integrated Action Plan. जेमती मु आपन कहूतली जे प्रत्येक 5-year plan रो गोटे टार्गेट कोन थिला, रिड्यूसिंग रीजनल डिस्पैरिटी. जो रीजनल डिस्पैरिटी अछि या रीजनल इनइक्वालिटी अछि ताको हमको कोन करिया पड़िबो, मिनिमाइज करिवा को पड़िबो. जेमती यू कैन सी in within the Odisha, you can see that eastern area or eastern Odisha is more developed than the western Odisha. So that kind of regional disparity could be minimized, and you can say the tribal belts are underdeveloped than the non-tribal belts. So every fiber, in fact in India also, upon India case re bhi dekhibe, western states are more developed than the eastern states. So basically ଯେତେବେଳେ integrated action plan launch kara jaythila, it was launched by the government of India with respect to many states, and Odisha was one of them. And it was targeting what? It was targeting this tribal and backward districts. Tribal and backward districts. Okay, so this is what exactly the plan was all about. So tribal and backward districts ro jo problem gudiko achi, to address those problems, the government of India launched this program, this what we call the integrated action plan, the overall development. Right? ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନର ଯଦି ସ୍କିମ୍ ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବେ, ଗୋଟେ ସ୍କିମ୍ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଲଞ୍ଚ କରାଯାଇଛି ଯେମିତି ଆପଣ aspirational district program. And the last year budget re, we also, the government came with this aspirational block program as well. Aspirational district program means overall development of those 100 plus districts which has been identified government with respect to their socio-economic parameters. And to further benefits, so that benefits could be reach out to those ground level at the decentralized manner, you know, we or the government launched this what? Aspirational block program. तेणु ब्लॉक लेवल रु जाइकी से डेवलपमेंट गुड़ा को इनिशिएट करने को पड़िबो. तेणु सरकार कौन स्टार्ट करचंदी? एस्पिरेशनल ब्लॉक प्रोग्राम. ओके, चलନ୍ତୁ आगु बढ़िबा. Who has been appointed as the first vice chairman of Niti Aayog? Now, first vice chairman या vice chairperson of the Niti Aayog. The Niti Aayog ro जो you can see the officials, chairperson होचंदी prime minister. Exactly आपण दे देखिबे प्लानिंग कमिशन रे भी chairperson थिले कि ना prime minister, and vice chairperson भी अलगा थिले कहार planning commission ro. Niti Aayog ro भी planning like planning commission, a different person would be the vice chairperson, and that person must be belong to a particular expertise, field of expertise. So expertise कौन? Basically हमें कौन देखुचु ना, those who are experts in economics, finance. Okay, तेणु वर्तमान रो जदि आपण ई क्वेश्चन रो आंसर जेतोले पचरा जाइथिला सेतोले किए थिले अरविंद Panagarya, and he was the first vice chairperson as well. He was the first vice chairperson. If you see the present vice chairperson, Suman Beri, another economist. Okay, तेणु जो coming prelims रे ये facts गुड़ा को टिके आपण नजर रे देबे कि जेतोले prelims होउथो से समय रे किए vice chairperson थिले, that name you have to remember. Okay, चलन. Which of the following was the earliest regional planning? Now 5-year plan आमे देखुतले कोन ना प्रति 5 वर्षीय योजना आमे जहा को कहितो प्रति 5 वर्ष रे गोटे प्लान फॉर्मूला we just simply prepare. Okay, तेणु ता छडा जो म आपन कहउथली रीजनल डिस्पैरिटी को मिनिमाइज करिवा पई बहुत गुडे रीजनल प्लानिंग भी मध्य स्टार्ट करा जायथला. Regional planning, special importance, special attention was paid to those backward regions. Special attention was paid to those backward regions. So special attention dava pai teno different schemes were launched. Okay, National Capital Region Plan, which was launched in 1985. Question कौन पचरिची? Earliest, we'll see. Dandakaranya Area Plan 58, Damodar Valley Project 48, and this Vakra Nangal Project 45. Okay, so if you ask me that which one is the earliest, okay, which one is the earliest, then answer is C. कहेंगे ना 45 रे भी तो हेइथिला भाकरा नंगल. जो दामोदर वैली प्रोजेक्ट हेइथिला, under that, this Damodar Valley project was all about you can say the part of this regional planning process. जो दामोदर river रे जो project हेतला, it was part of this regional planning process. But this Vakranangal, it was only for this, what we call this, जो dam हेतला, that was for the electricity generation. It was for a specific purpose. But ये जो Damodar Valley project हेतला, it had this multiple objectives, multiple purpose. सेट earliest regional planning जदि हमें देखिबा, then it is Damodar Valley project, which was started in 1948. Are you getting my point? So this was the different what you call plan or programs to reduce this regional disparity, which were launched by the government of India. Now moving to the next. Which of the following is not an objective of the Niti Aayog? When we say not an objective of the Niti Aayog, then we can see A, B, C, D options are given. Let's read this. Allocating financial resources to states. ये होची प्रथम ऑप्शन. सेकंड ऑप्शन देखंतु, to foster cooperative federalism by evolving a shared vision of national development priorities. Third ta देखंतु, to develop mechanism to formulate credible plans to village level and aggregate these progressively at higher levels of government. Fourth, to pay attention to the weaker sections of the society that may not have benefited from economic progress. You can see the answer is what, I mean, it is asking what? Not an objective. So I mean, not an objective not an objective in the sense what? What we call the allocating financial resources to states. Kahinki allocating? Na planning commissioner exactly a kama thila, financial resources, and it was simply criticized by different states. Aku criticize madhya kara jaithila. Seiti pai Niti Aayog was constituted, but this financial resources allocation work was not given. It is simply a think tank. It will do these such kind of work. Apart from this, A is not in the objective of what we call the Niti Aayog. Are you getting my point? So if you see the objectives of Niti Aayog, first one, fostering cooperative federalism and active involvement of states. Cooperative federalism, cooperation between the center and the states. So this is cooperative federalism. Okay, and then we have this, or you can simply say, whenever a decision would be taken by the central government, active participation of states are also allowed. You can take the example of GST. Okay, then formulation of plans at village level, aggregation at higher levels, this is correct. So this is in responsible authority to prepare a plan, to suggest states or central government with respect to a plan, only to suggest, only to recommend. If a state government needs that we want to frame a policy with respect to drinking water facility, obviously Niti Aayog would do that. Niti Aayog will advise with respect to that. Niti Aayog advise tabakaku that states ko. Suppose you can see this competitive federalism. Upon the ranking in terms of cleanest city, ranking in terms of educational institutions, ranking in terms of, let's say, with respect to ease of doing business. Who is doing this? This ranking is done by this Niti Aayog. You can see this multi-dimensional poverty index. So, this competitive federalism, competitive spirit among the state governments, who is creating such kind of atmosphere? Again, the Niti Aayog. So, along with the cooperative federalism, competitive federalism is another feature which is promoted by the Niti Aayog among the state governments. Upon that, monitoring facilities. Monitoring in the sense, if a scheme has been implemented by the central or the state government, now Niti Aayog can monitor those schemes, how it is going on, how it proceeds and all. So these things are basically the functions of Niti Aayog, except one thing for which this planning commission was criticized. That is the reason this responsibility was not given to Niti Aayog. That was the allocation of resources or allocation of financial resources basically. fund would not be allocated by the Niti Aayog. And rest you can see how the other objectives are there. Okay. Which one below is not a statutory body? Now, statutory body, these things is the part of polity, but since this has been, this Niti Aayog question is there, that's the reason I have put it. Statutory body, se kon pocharuchi, not a statutory body. Statutory body kon? The institution or any such organization, jota ki through an act, this has been formed through an act. Okay, seta ame kohiba statutory body. Now, out ache apanଙ୍କର constitutional body. Constitutional body be apna dekhibe, those bodies or institutions which are mentioned explicitly in the Constitution of India. Tano ye question re answer kono, which one below is not a statutory body? So statutory body yadi apna dekhibe, this Niti Aayog is not a statutory body. You can Finance Commission, UPSC, Election Commission, these are the constitutional body as well, and obviously they comes under the statute or the law. However, Niti Aayog has been framed or formulated through an executive resolution, so it's not a statutory body. This has not been introduced through an act. Planning Commission, exactly same. Planning Commission was not a statutory body. Again, it was with respect to an executive resolution, executive decision or executive order ame jahako kahito. I hope it's clear. Now, coming to this, mixed economy means an economy where ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଥିବେ ଯଦି ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ ସିଷ୍ଟମ୍ ଆପଣ ପଢ଼ିବେ, ସେ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ ସିଷ୍ଟମ୍ରେ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ଅଛି କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲିଷ୍ଟ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି କ'ଣ ସୋସିଆଲିଷ୍ଟ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ଅଛି ମିକ୍ସଡ। ଏ କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲିଷ୍ଟ କ'ଣ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ ସିଷ୍ଟମ୍ ଆମେ ପଢ଼ିବେ। କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲିଷ୍ଟ କ'ଣ ଯୋଉଠିକି କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲିଜମ୍ और ଯାହାକୁ ଆମେ କହିଥାଉ କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲ ଇଜ୍ ପ୍ଲେଇଂ ଏ ଡମିନେଣ୍ଟ ରୋଲ୍, और टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग जोटिकी मार्केट फोर्सेस और मार्केट हैज ए डोमिनेंट रोल। तेणु प्राइवेट सेक्टर रो या मार्केट रो जोठी डोमिनेंट रोल अच्छी या मैक्सिमम रोल अच्छी, दैट इज नोन एज द कैपिटलिज्म। आपण एग्जांपल नहीं परिबे यूएस, द वेस्टर्न यूरोपियन कंट्रीज, दे आर द कैपिटलिस्ट कंट्रीज बिकॉज प्रायोरिटीज आर गिवन टू द कैपिटलिस्ट क्लास, दोस मार्केट फोर्सेस। ओके, सोशलिज्म आपण एग्जांपल नहीं परिबे जो the erstwhile or the previous USSR, that means Union Socialist Soviet Socialist Republic। तेणु USSR को सोशलिस्ट कुआ जाउथला। सोशलिस्ट माने कोन ना सेठी गवर्नमेंट हैज द मैक्सिमम सिग्निफिकेंस और गवर्नमेंट हैज द मैक्सिमम प्रेजेंस। आपण द इंडिया केस रे देखिबे, इंडिया इज पार्ट ऑफ व्हाट दिस मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी, both government and private। although आपण 1990 पर्यंत देखि परिबे जे गवर्नमेंट हैड ए डोमिनेंसी इन द इकोनॉमी। आफ्टर दिस 1990, under the liberalization, privatization, globalization, the market started dominating, and now we are in phase of that trending or shifting towards this capitalism path। however, we can call the Indian economy as a mixed one, because we have also this presence of the government in significant or strategic sectors। So mixed economy ro mane hoji kono? Mixed economy means an economy where it's not like agriculture industry, exactly what this is, B is the answer, where there is coexistence of public along with the private sector। okay, public along with the private sector। although India is considered, India is known as the mixed economy, however in the initial days of planning or till 1990, we have seen that the dominancy of the government sector। सेथिपाई इंडिया को कौन कहा जाउथला? India was more of socialist oriented। clear? now next is who wrote the book Planned Economy for India। so when we started this planning 1951 onwards, ता पूर्वरु आपण माने देखिबे बहुत गुड experts, they came with certain ideas, they came with certain kind of explanation what would be the nature of the planning। ओके with respect to जमती प्लानिंग स्ट्रेटेजी या प्लानिंग विषय आम पढ़ी था जमती गांधी स्वराज भी जमती होता कौन ना विलेज इकोनॉमी को प्रायोरिटी दि जाता कॉटेज इंडस्ट्री को प्रायोरिटी दि जाता सेमती आप देखिए बुक लिखाई या बुक लिखी किए द प्लान्ड इकोनॉमी फॉर इंडिया एंड इट वाज रिटन बाय दिस एम विश्वेश्वराय. M. Viswesvaraya, I think you know this. September 15 is also celebrated as the birthday of this M. Viswesvaraya as the Engineer's Day. He was an engineer. Okay. So, who wrote this planned economy for India? M. Viswesvaraya. Right? जेमती कि आपण बॉम्बे प्लान मध्य सुनिथिबे ना बॉम्बे प्लान. What was this Bombay plan? Few capitalist or industrialist आपण कहि परिबे who came with this idea of a planning. सेमाने मध्य they framed a planning. काहेकि ना आमे after independence almost everyone or the experts or the leaders they have decided we are moving towards a path of planning. So then next stage is what would be the nature, say planning रा nature केमती हबो. तेणु बॉम्बे प्लान इंट्रोड्यूस करा जायतिला with few industrialists in that particular committee or in a group. जेमती JRD टाटा भी सेतरे कोन थिले member थिले. Okay, let's move to the next. Rourkela steel plant was set up with assistance of USSR, West Germany, UK and USA. Answer is कोन ना Germany. काहेकि ना जेतबेले मु आपन कहउथली जे इनिशियल इयर्स रे टिल 1991 इंडिया रे आमे कोन देखतिलु गोटे सोशलिस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट देखितिलु गवर्नमेंट रो डोमिनेंसी आमे देखितिलु. तेणु जो कलोनियल गवर्नमेंट रु आमको आजादी मिलला वी गॉट द इंडिपेंडेंस फ्रॉम द कलोनियल रूलर और कलोनियल रूल इट वाज इन द माइंड ऑफ लीडर्स एमिनेंट लीडर्स कौन माइंड रे लीडर्स मनकर तेला कि जदि आमे अधिका डिपेंडेंसी क्रिएट करिबा अधिका डिपेंडेंसी ऑन दोस फॉरेन रूल अगेन वी कैन कम अंडर अनदर कलोनियल रूलर. तेणु आमको सेल्फ रिलायंस होबाकू पड़िबो एंड सेल्फ रिलायंस पई गवर्नमेंट वाज द key to start this what we call objectives. तेणु गवर्नमेंट कौन कले जो हेवी इंडस्ट्रीज को सेटअप करबा पे चेष्टा कले एंड विथ दैट हेवी इंडस्ट्रीज राउरकेला स्टील प्लांट वाज वन ऑफ देम एंड इट वाज सेट अप विद असिस्टेंस फ्रॉम दिस वेस्ट जर्मनी. जेमती आपण जानिथिबे इंडिया फॉलोड दिस व्हाट वी कॉल द मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी एज वेल एज दिस नॉन अलाइड. वी ट्राई टू गेट बेनिफिट्स बोथ द ब्लॉक्स from both the blocks during this Cold War era. Cold War समय रे हमें दीटा का ब्लॉक रु इक्वली बेनिफिट नबाकू चेष्टा करिथिलु USSR रु मध्य US रु मध्य. तेणु राउरकेला स्टील प्लांट वेस्ट जर्मनी सहायता रे गठन करा जायतिला या सेटअप करा जायतिला. Which of the 5-year plan has led emphasize this faster sustainable and inclusive growth? 11th 5-year plan ने हमें कौन देखिथिलु 11th 5-year plan ने हमें देखिथिलु कौन inclusive growth was the objective. 12th 5-year plan रे it was a quite lengthy with respect to what the objective जो थे कि faster and sustainable term add करा जायतिला. So faster sustainable inclusive growth it was part of this what 12th 5-year plan. Okay. Which Indian plan accepted the strategy of inclusive growth for the first time? This question was repeated. You can see this. This question was repeated. So obviously the answer would be what? 11th plan, which was saying the inclusive growth was the objective. Okay. So these were basically the questions which have asked in the previous year paper, jota ki those were related to planning. Okay. So broadly we discussed the planning topic. Okay. And I think all those concepts we have already discussed under this. So tomorrow we'll come with another topic with respect to the economy. Okay. Till then, thank you.